A moment that most of us never thought we'd see, Donald Trump has finally been arrested, booked, and arraigned in Manhattan in connection to his illegal hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. It's just the first of many steps toward justice, accountability, and upholding the constitutional principle that no one is above the law. Here's Trump arriving at the Manhattan courthouse for his booking and arraignment. And here are photos of criminal defendant Donald Trump inside the courthouse after his fingerprints were taken. Now, today was the day that Donald Trump was finally confronted with the legal reality that he faces. And while cameras weren't allowed in the New York courtroom, there were reporters inside, and here's what they had to say.
In describing the indictment, they said that Mr. Trump tried to conceal a conspiracy and undermine the 2016 election, to identify and suppress negative information. This was covert and illegal payments at Mr. Trump's direction, directed to Michael Cohen, and the purpose was to suppress this affair and this negative information.
The indictment is now public, and you can view it for yourself, which details all 34 criminal charges that Trump is contending with. After the arraignment, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg held a press conference.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct. Why did Donald Trump repeatedly make these false statements? The evidence will show that he did so to cover up crimes relating to the 2016 election. Donald Trump, executives at the publishing company American Media Incorporated, Mr. Cohen, and others agreed in 2015 to a catch and kill scheme. That is, a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election. As part of this scheme, Donald Trump and others made 3 payments to people who claimed to have negative information about Mr. Trump. To make these payments, they set up shell companies, and they made yet more false statements, including, for example, in AMI, American Media Incorporated's business records. One of the 3 people that they paid to keep quiet was a woman named Stormy Daniels. Less than 2 weeks before the presidential election, Michael Cohen wired $130,000 to Stormy Daniels' lawyer. That payment was to hide damaging information from the voting public. The participant scheme was illegal. The scheme violated New York election law, which makes it a crime to conspire to promote a candidacy by unlawful means. The $130,000 wire payment exceeded the federal campaign contribution cap, and the false statements in AMI's books violated New York law. That is why Mr. Trump made false statements about his payments to Mr. Cohen.
And there you have it. This was a cover-up, all predicated on deceiving voters and breaking the law to do it. I think the key quote here is exactly what should be repeated over and over. Quote, "These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct." Meaning that if anyone else committed these business crimes, they would be prosecuted as well. And we know this because New York City prosecutes white-collar criminals all the time. As Bragg said, it is the business capital of the world. Now, around the same time at this press conference where Alvin Bragg laid out his case of Donald Trump's multitude of crimes, Trump's lawyers held their own press conference, and it didn't go well.
President not use language. He requested that everybody involved refrain from using language that's inappropriate. And by the way, that includes the witnesses for the people who are talking just as much.
It also includes the former president swinging a baseball bat at the head of the Manhattan DA.
Well, I don't know where you got that, because if
that was a tweet sent out by the former president.
No, it wasn't. And first of all, that picture was not him swinging a baseball bat. I mean, if you want to distort the facts, go right ahead. I want to address that. Yes, it is. He wasn't swinging a baseball bat at anyone's head. That was a picture of him showing off an American-made bat. Someone else put a picture of the district attorney next to him, and in an article posted that. That's not his article. It's not his photos.
Not using language that incites.
Guys, here's what we're going to talk about today. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the insufficiency of this case.
Oh, so Donald Trump didn't post a post that he absolutely did post, and he didn't use an image of himself holding a baseball bat because the baseball bat was made in America. Make sense? Didn't think so. The fact is that Donald Trump posted an image of himself holding a baseball bat next to Alvin Bragg's head. Even if he didn't make the photo, he has two eyes and could see the photo prior to posting it. It was a clear and present threat, just like his post threatening death and destruction if he's held accountable was also a threat. He knows it, his lawyers know it, and you know who else knows it? The judge overseeing Trump's case.
The prosecutor went on to say that Mr. Trump has made recent threatening emails and speeches, both directed at New York City, the courts here in New York, the justice system, and the district attorney's office. He said that these are irresponsible social media posts that threaten death and destruction and even World War III. He said that these public statements to the district attorney, which included a photo of him swinging a baseball bat towards the district attorney's head, was very concerning. They're concerned about this and what effect it will have on potential jurors and witnesses. But they said that this will not dissuade the office, and they're seeking a protective order regarding discovery materials. They're very concerned that some of the attorneys or some of this may be leaked, or that President Trump himself would use some of that discovery in a way that would compromise the potential trial. They began discussing conditions of release. They talked about how defense attorney Joe Tacopina had communications with Stormy Daniels, and that could present a conflict. In response, Todd Blanche, representing Mr. Trump, said that the people just spoke for 10 minutes. They haven't seen discovery. They talk about Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen has been standing on the steps of this courthouse revealing all kinds of material that will be relevant in the trial. Mr. Trump has sorry, I'm just being moved here. They say that Mr. Trump has responded forcefully and clearly. He's very upset, he's frustrated, and he believes that this is an injustice.